blew out my ears. I got to turn on the volume. You got to remember, these things are big.
A lot of airwaves getting captured there.
And the redder they are, the more sensitive.
Yep.
That's the other rule of thumb.
Getting into an episode like this, there's 100% certainty that these babies are going to be flaming.
In the victory laps.
Log it. Log it.
Period.
From February 1st.
What's up, you unreliable bunch of take-notching, egregiously bad L-notching degenerates? I'm the Beaver.
Notch belt full of L's. I'm Cash.
Why was the table shaking there? Just from the vibrations of your
Vibration
voice?
of my voice.
That makes sense.
I'm pretty sure it's Beaver's leg that's shaking.
I project it from deep within.
The patented leg shake. Josh Selway here. We are talking biggest whiffs, most embarrassing takes, and we're gonna offer up some apologies as well because we are a sorry bunch tonight. We are a sorry bunch, but really
we had to really dig for these though. They were hard to find. We hit on so much.
Not a ton of huge whiffs. Not a ton of huge whiffs. Some pretty bad ones, but
took a couple months.
We found some. We found at least 6.
We managed to find a couple.
We'll have a couple each here, and let's just get right into it. Cash.
Well, we're talking L's, and my first L, boy, was it painful. It was painful, gentlemen, digging up all this information. But let me tell you, it was not difficult. This L, his name begins with an L. Laviska.
I have a feeling that's where you're going.
Laviska, I probably shall not draft you in this coming year. Let me tell you, boys, it was Laviska season 4 times. Not once, not twice, not 3, not 4. And I think that's the main takeaway here with all these putrid, just terrible numbers that I'm going to be getting into.
Ugh.
Has it been that long?
The land here, no, it hasn't been that long, but in the course of one season, there were 4 Visca.
Gotcha.
There were 4 Visca seasons. But to lay the land, what the initial case was for Visca was that Visca was going to get additional volume because Travis Etienne was out for the year, right? He was going to get more manufactured touches out of the backfield. You had the rational coaching narrative with Urban Meyer.
Oh.
You know, I mean,
this
disgusting.
This is hurting.
Disgusting.
Reliving this. This is such just reliving this is so bad.
Yeah, my stomach is gurgling, but that he was going to use Laviska like he'd use players like, I don't know, Percy Harvin at Florida. I don't know.
How thin of a stretch is that? Jesus. We were really stretching that.
Curtis Samuel at Ohio State and Travis Etienne being out for the year, that was going to open up opportunities for Visca to be able to get more work out of the backfield, more short manufactured touches, and rely on what his main skill set is, run after the catch ability, because he's a physical player. So the first season was Travis Etienne season, okay? Started out real slow. Really nothing happened. And then week 2, DJ Shark out for the year. Oh, man. Visca season 2.0. If there was any doubt that Travis Etienne wasn't enough, we have the stage. DJ Shark, the number 1 wide receiver, is out. They have to play Visca. They got to feed him the volume. And just to debunk the, was volume an issue? Volume, my friends, was not an issue for players that had more than not for players that had more than 50 targets, but he was top 35 in targets in the entire NFL. He saw the century mark. He had 100 targets, and
wow.
DJ Shark being out, those targets ended up not equating to anything fantasy worthy or relevant, and part of that ended up being because we had Jamal Agnew, Gagnew, who crept up and ended up being a more productive fantasy producer than, quite frankly, Laviska Shenault this year. Laviska had yeah, I can't even believe this, guys. He had 0 half PPR, and I'm going to use half PPR because we're mainly going to be talking about underdog. He had 0 half PPR weeks over 10 points this year. 0. Did not even have one.
Doesn't exist.
Jamal Agnew had 1, 2, 3, and he was only healthy for what was 7 weeks. And then Jamal Agnew goes down. I mean, come on, guys. It's got to be Visca season. No DJ Shark, no Travis Etienne, Jamal Agnew. He goes down. No. Ends up still not happening. Long story longer, Laviska Shenault ends the year as wide receiver 60 for players that had more than 50 targets. He was 11th at the bottom in yards per reception with 9.8. He was 9th to the bottom in yards per target with 6.19. He was tied for 16th with 5 drops. And now let's go back to what was Visca season number 4. Visca season number 4, Urban Meyer gets fired. Oh, well, Urban Meyer's been the problem the entire time. It's gonna, we have to unleash Visca. Ends up still not happening. My goodness.
We thought that was the real unleashing that time.
When you think that the numbers can't get worse, guess how many touchdowns he had this year, gentlemen? Receiving and rushing. Total touchdowns.
1?
Beaver?
Did he have one?
He didn't have one. He had 0. He had 0 touchdowns. Let me tell you, Freddie Swain had 4. Greg Ward had 3. Michael Pruitt had 3. And even Christian even Christian Wilkerson. Christian Wilkerson managed to have two touchdowns.
I don't even know who he is.
Defensive line.
That's the point. Christian Wilkerson had 2 touchdowns.
Actually, that's someone different.
Oh my gosh. It's putrid. It's disgusting.
4 seasons of Visca, and each one was a winter apocalypse.
Oh, God.
I mean, those are guys that work at Walmart in the offseason.
My ears are flamed. I actually feel the flaming bleeding out my eyes. My eyes are turning red. Redness into tears. And
that was painful.
The one thing, though, that I'll say is if there is any light of optimism, it is that the golden boy, Mr. Head and Shoulders himself, beautiful hair.
God's quarterback,
Trevor Lawrence, couldn't hit a cow in the middle of a road while driving a semi if his life depended on it, as he was 3rd to the bottom in the league with a completion percentage of 59%. And just another tidbit there, bottom three in completion percentage this year, all 3 rookie quarterbacks. No, there wasn't another Justin Herbert in this particular class. And another sign of optimism was that Urban Meyer was too busy boozing and funneling IG model wannabe chicks for the majority of the season instead of coaching. So what I'm saying is, Visca, there could still be a chance, and I do think that chance is better than Lloyd Christmas's chance to land Mary of 1 in a million, but I'm not exactly going to say that it's 1 in 100. Mary Swanson to be a perennial fantasy producer moving forward, because the volume was there. The opportunity was there. He had 4 seasons in 1 season, and gentlemen, it just didn't happen. I'm sorry to the listeners, but boy, was it fun.
So
imagining the athletic phenom that Laviska is being, elite. He just ended up not being elite.
Still in that right situation, he could be a beast.
I can't
do it.
No, I don't think,
guys.
I don't think that he can be a beast. I think that it's just like he's gonna be a best ball guy where, given the right construction, maybe you're drafting
last round. I hope. Not all he'll get from me.
No, I mean he'll probably fall like somewhere 12th to 14th round. I'm gonna imagine this particular year.
I just gotta stop before.
Still has a fun name.
Didn't even mention separation. I mean, the eyeball test.
Before you do it, I just want to be clear. I'm out. There's no picture you can paint. There's no picture you can paint.
We'll see.
Like Lowry said, I mean, on paper, it was all there. I mean, we didn't just build the foundation on paper. We built the fucking house. Like you said, there were layers. I mean, it wasn't just a one-off deal where he might get a little boost. I mean, everything was laid out. perfectly for him. You
It's one thing
can't
after
get
another.
A better
It was almost
play,
like dominoes.
A better pick, a better situation on paper than what that looked like.
It was a shit team, but there could not have been more opportunity that rose to the top. And at the end of the day, if a player's that good, then the talent's going to squeak through every now and again.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I mean, he had over 60 receptions. Like, he had over 70 total touches.
But he's not good. That's the problem.
I don't
We
understand.
know that now. Guys, we watched and we identified this.
I don't know.
He can't get open. Even when and his hands aren't good. Like, I don't know. Like, he's elusive, yeah, obviously. But like,
all right,
what
I'll
else did
accept
we
it.
see?
But sometimes when he gets the ball, he almost looks like a Debo light.
I also think his head's
I'm not
fucked
completely
up,
out.
man.
I'm
He
not
was an
completely
alpha.
out.
He came into this league in alpha, and they fucked with his mental.
I think that
He doesn't have the swag.
the right manufactured
Doesn't have the juice.
the right manufactured touches, I think that he can still produce. But to think that Laviska Shenault is anywhere near scratching the surface of even a top 18 wide receiver, I just don't think that that's in the cards.
Well, let me tell you
I'll
about
take cheap shots. You know me.
Let me tell you about someone who wasn't in the top 18 of wide receivers this year. This is the wide receiver 19. This is, let's start right here. Let's just imagine that you go to a car dealership, you're walking around the lot, and you see that shiny red Corvette over there, and it's just the classic cry for help. And you know it. It's overpriced, doesn't get good mileage, your insurance is going to go up. But you buy it. You buy it anyways. And as soon as you drive it off the lot, the value just disappears.
Depreciates.
Half gone. And that's, to me, that's what CeeDee Lamb was this year. Because CeeDee Lamb, I have a video. I have the TikTok receipt of me saying it's a fishy pick. It's a bad pick. He's a fun guy. You know that the public loves him. He's a second-year breakout candidate. Classic. The classic mold. You knew that you were buying at the ceiling. His ADP was rising all offseason. But I still did it. I still did it all the time. I couldn't help myself.
And
I bought the Corvette.
Josh, what that was is, you're absolutely right. It was a home run shot. I mean, you knew that it didn't make sense. You knew that it was out of your price range. But if you get that car, you just might get lucky, and you might get some pussy that you hadn't. So I think, and that's like with CD, you might get a league winner. You wanted the number one player in fantasy. That's what I wanted. And I knew that, more often than not, he wasn't gonna meet ADP.
Well, this year, he finished below DJ Moore, which surprised me. Sort of, I guess. Below Michael Pittman Jr. And the thing with CD, you got to remember, I'm talking total PPR points here. He didn't miss a game. So there's no, total points, nothing there. He played in every single game. Week 8 on, 0 100-yard receiving games after week 8 for CD. Who do I need to apologize here? I need to apologize to consolidated target shares, because that's the problem with Dallas. You had Michael Gallup there. You had Amari Cooper there. And apparently, superstar can't stop getting the ball, Dalton Schultz. When I think about the Cowboys from this past season, I think about Dak Prescott throwing a 9-yard pass to Dalton Schultz and then him getting tackled. And that's what it was. Too many mouths to feed there. He scored fewer fantasy points overall than Zeke, which I would not have bet on that. And he's still a great player. Tough, great hands, amazing after the catch. But their offense...
He had fewer points than Zeke?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I sorted by...
that is filthy.
We can double check that if you want, but...
That's not even 85% lean, 15% fat.
Not even close.
Oh, no, that's...
If you're behind
that's
beef,
way below
dumpster
80-20. That's way below 80-20.
If you're behind beef, you're in trouble. So...
That's on sale at IGA.
It was a whiff.
Great story.
Do I regret it? I'm not sure.
Didn't mean
But
to take a shot.
on paper, it really wasn't hard to see that coming, considering all the guys they have there. And when you have a offensive coordinator he likes to get aggressive, likes to scheme everyone up, everyone get involved. It's not, as I've talked before, it's not a Green Bay situation where if they look over and see CeeDee Lamb's just basically another guy in their offense almost. If they see CeeDee Lamb in one-on-one coverage, it's not an automatic, let's go to CeeDee. There was a problem throughout the season getting big plays. They weren't throwing the ball down the field. If CeeDee did get anything, it was like a hitch or something underneath. They just didn't know how to scheme him up. Yes, Zeke Elliott, PPR points this year, 252.
Look at this. Looking up stats while he's giving the take.
CeeDee Lamb,
a pro right there.
232.
Australia.
20 points behind CeeDee. To me, a huge letdown for a guy that was sneaking his way up to that second round area. A guy that, Beaver, we have the footage of this as well, and I was basically agreeing-ish with you. CeeDee Lamb over Justin Jefferson.
Ish! You were on board.
I don't
You
remember
had one
really
hand
doing
on the
it.
fucking wheel.
The thing is, you
bud.
didn't have to do that in drafts. It was a situation you didn't necessarily have to do that, but you knew CeeDee was going too high. You should have known.
You had to temper the fun. You had to temper the fun.
It's just a situation where there are times to bet on the fun, to bet with your heart. There are select moments to do that, but when it's a guy where everyone else is so excited about,
And that's the key.
that makes it hard. That makes it hard. You have to keep, if we're talking best ball, keep your exposure lower than you want to.
And that's the takeaway, right? We need to start playing season long more contrarian like we play DFS. We need to be less, I don't want to say turned off by the hype, but we almost want to just have our guard up for the hype a little bit.
There are points
but you don't want to take that too far, and then you miss out on good hype. You got to sift through it.
It's a tough balance.
It is.
It's a tough balance, but CeeDee, as I said, I'm not sure if I regret it yet. I'm not sure if I regret it or not.
But Bun, I mean, I feel like this one's tough to regret, and I feel like it's not one where it's like, oh, you're not going to go back to the well. I think that your apology is just absolutely spot on, and the apology is to consolidated target share, and it's like we were talking about before the show. The Dallas Cowboys, they were the number one highest scoring team in the league. But it was a mirage from a fantasy standpoint, just because that volume was just completely spread out butter all over the English muffin.
Yeah, they even had games mixing in Cedric Wilson when all wide receivers were healthy, scheming up plays for Tony Pollard. So many guys there. Then multiple games in the middle, then at the end, where they just weren't even productive. I mean, their big weeks, were huge, but then they would disappear. So
there were games when everyone was healthy, and I remember saying to myself, I can't tell the difference between CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown, because Noah Brown was out there getting catch after catch.
And they both have long hair. I do that too.
I mix them up.
Yeah, you do that repetitively with everyone, even if one has a shaved head and the other one has long hair.
Impossible.
And the one's 6'5" and the other's 5'9".
Yeah, it's just CD every time.
It could literally be DK
I'm
Metcalf
disappointed
or, well, I guess if he kept it same team, could be Darren Waller or Hunter Renfrow.
Mm-hmm. And the worst part about that was the ball tickle he gave you in week 1. 17 targets, comes out and fucking wrecks, and it looks exactly like what you said, what we kind of thought it was, that he was going to be the stone first read on every fucking passing play, because he was in that game. And then that was it. That was the absolute game. He blew the whole load. There was nothing left.
And I think for Kellen Moore,
not one game like that the rest of the way.
He's obviously a brilliant guy, but it always comes back to, you can scheme up all these different plays and have them play off each other in different ways. One play sets up another and all this great stuff. But at some point, it's just get the ball to your best players. Yeah. Just because otherwise you're spreading yourself too thin, and it comes back to bite them against the 49ers, in my opinion, because it's like Cash said before the game. He's like, these guys can't keep up with CeeDee Lamb. Well, they can when he only runs 2 different routes the entire game from the same position.
How could that guy put out that stat line in his playoff debut?
Consolidated volume, absolutely not enough of it in Dallas this year, even though that they were a very good offense. Beaver. What else on your chin? I can see it shaved out of that beard you have.
I can see it in the corner of the room. It's the size of an elephant. Might as well just break the tension right out the gate, right? Let's start with Trey. Touted as Trey Lance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got to specify. I forgot. We got to specify our 49er Trey.
Well, also just,
L's.
Haven't seen that guy in a while.
Yeah. So he was touted as a 17th and then 14th and then 12th and then I believe as low as 8th if I was drafting. Might even have had a couple 7s.
8th round ADP, yeah.
Not going to lie.
Yeah,
Got boozed up at a couple home leagues.
Yeah, I think he was
I might have had a couple 7s.
Selected in the 8th.
Yeah.
You drove ADP. You were the
I was driving
you were the
ADP.
Single driver of
I did.
ADP. If Trey Lance was in the 10th, you're taking him in the 9th, and then when he got to the 9th, you're taking him in the 8th. When he got to the 8th, you're taking him in the 7th.
Well, and when you take a guy that much, you never even really get a true read on what his ADP is or a feel for when he goes.
It was Mad
'cause You're
Max.
the fucking guy that's always taking
Mad
him.
Max.
Yeah, so that was the tout. The return on the investment was dog shit. I mean, actually not even as good. I mean, I would have rather had to clean up a big scoop of Cato's peanut butter. It pales in comparison to the mess I had to clean up. I mean, I was dealing with this all year on every team. This rotting bench spot for a guy that had this, this epitome that I was going to become the season-long grinder, and I did. So that was just a thorn in my side all goddamn year. So I would like to apologize. I'd like to apologize to the 49er fan base that had to endure what myself and my following had to. It probably didn't cost you as many chips as us, but the pain must have been even worse. And, I said it at the beginning of the year, it's a Super Bowl roster. I thought for sure they were the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl, even with the rookie quarterback. If you'd have told me Jimmy G was playing the whole season, I'd have said one of the worst teams in the league, nowhere near a playoff team. That's how low I think of him.
I got something.
Shanahan's not an idiot, guys. He sees the soft first month
This
of the
is
schedule.
Taysom Hill.
Do you think he wants...
This is Taysom Hill.
No, we're back on Trey. It's too important.
Make it quick.
It's too important. Do you think Shanahan sees that first month and knowing damn well that there is no chance they lose a game? Do you think he wants to deal with the headache of having to bench Jimmy G after he's 4-0? No, I'm calling it right now. He will be the week 1 starter. There's no doubt in my mind, and it's going to happen any day.
Oh, boy. Sorry.
Not only was
I didn't
that the
remember.
best-
I didn't
Not
remember
only
what the
was
take
that-
was.
Are you going to apologize to Jimmy G's good looks while we're at it?
Not only was that the best delivery, but that should have been the take of the year. In the entire industry, that could have been the take of the year. If Shanahan wasn't a dumb motherfucker. Fuck you, Shanahan. Fuck you, man.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we're just going
And
right.
listen, I got
we're
one
going
more
right
thing to say.
I
got one more thing to say.
This is no way to take an L.
He's the best pick on the board in 2022. You heard it here first. Get him before they get rid of Jimmy. He's the reason to start doing best balls right now. He's going to be the number 1 value, the best pick on the board, and we'll be looking at this fucking clip next year at this time. In the victory laps.
Log it.
Period.
From February 1st. Where is he going in the early best ball drafts?
9th round.
Oh, damn. It's hoping a
Right
little
where we
bit.
left off.
Yeah, people aren't letting that slip.
Back on the trail.
Yeah, well.
Oh, boy. Man, that was...
Sorry if that's what you wanted, but that's what you got.
That turned explicit quick.
It was unscripted.
I thought you were going to start talking about his
I
wife.
really was going to try
Kyle's
to
wife.
take some responsibility and some
Kyle's
ownership,
children.
but I didn't.
Well, that's a...
No, we won't bring them into this, but boy, do I fucking hate that guy. Maybe more than anybody right now on earth. I imagine there, and the fan base has to be
Just let it out. Let it out here, Beaver. I mean, what else?
Am I wrong in saying that? Like, are there any San Fran fans that are saying, fuck you, Jimmy's our guy, you're an idiot, don't speak for us?
No, I think that's probably pretty accurate.
All right,
when
we're good here, then.
There was a potential game-winning drive, and
Just wanted to hook those guys up.
he ended up throwing an interception.
No, it's just an interception. He was upside
God.
down and threw it over his head or some crazy shit. I mean, it was literally one of the worst
People were already texting me
game-winning
trying to get me to eat
drives.
it.
Worst game-winning drives.
They missed Kittle on a fucking 60-yard touchdown. He stinks.
Yeah, he was trying gymnastics at the circus. But let's talk about a Marvel's movie character here, and we're going to talk about the Juggernaut from X-Men, an unstoppable force. The Juggernaut is described as physically unstoppable once in motion, does not tire from physical activity, and is able to survive without food, water, or oxygen. The force that I touted, I thought that he was going to be unstoppable, specifically at the goal line. I thought that all the red zone opportunities were going to be his. It's Zach Moss, the running back for the Bills that did not indeed end up taking anyewhat of a workhorse load in that particular uncertain situation. And I knew that this one was probably going to come bite me when I was drunk in the Las Vegas pool and watching NFL Sunday, lineups locked for DraftKings, just to find out that Zach Moss week 1 was an unhealthy, was a healthy scratch.
There was a lot of that day.
That hurt.
We learned a lot that day.
We learned a significant amount that day, and it even hit me, pretty much taking me out of my buzz as I quickly, scrambled, jumping out of the pool, dripping water, running over to the beach chair, water just splashing on my phone as I'm just scrambling to get Zach Moss out of my lineups on DraftKings.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to get another drink.
Oh, no, I did that after I ended up...
Got the lineups adjusted.
Yeah, I got the lineups adjusted, and then, I took a double fist back into the pool, and I just literally stared at this.
Drank it away.
No, I just stared at the screen for the next 30 minutes. I think I probably said, what the heck? Zach Moss, why is Zach Moss out? This doesn't make any freaking sense. But that was the indicator right off the get-go. But the thing that was weird is that after that,
they teased you.
They teased me.
You got teased.
I got teased. He ended up having his 3 best weeks of the entire year after that. They activated him. And he goes for 13 points, 15 points, and 12 points. At that point, you're getting exactly what you wanted from a best ball standpoint. But
and he was bulldozing people too.
He was. He did have that 2 touchdown week, game 2, and he did look like the Juggernaut, where he just put down his head, and he legitimately ran through a wall. He ran through 2, just like the Juggernaut does. But after those 3 weeks, oh boy, did it go downhill quick. He ended up becoming a healthy scratch 2 more times, and it really, the Tampa Bay game, when he was inactive, he just became an absolute nobody after that. That's when it turned into...
Drop season.
Yeah. It was drop season. It was, if you're hanging on a lifeline, you're depleted at running back with all the injuries that you had this particular year at RB in best ball format, and you're relying on Zach Moss, that just wasn't going to happen. That production was not going to be there, because it ended up being the emergence, boys, of Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary, it was as equal of a whiff on betting on Zach Moss as it was not having shares on Devin Singletary, because Devin Singletary is the guy that ended up rising out of the backfield. He goes for, in week 15, he goes for 15, he goes for 16 points, and he goes for 14 points, and he goes for 23 points. Then he goes for 23 again, and then in the playoffs he goes for 21, and he goes for 11. And let me tell you what Zach Moss's playoffs were. It was 0, because Zach Moss didn't even receive a frickin' carry. I want to apologize to Devin Singletary, because Devin Singletary and Fantasy Gods, I ask you why that you do this to the group, the group and good Samaritans, fantasy loyalists of Fantasy Unleashed, just being loyal promoters of Devin Singletary 2 years ago, and right when he gets drafted in the league to no end, playing him DraftKings every single week, saying that Devin Singletary is going to be the guy, and then
activists.
And then, activists. Just promoting Devin Singletary as if Devin Singletary is going to be a RB1 moving forward for years to come.
He was.
And then the Bills coaching staff in the front office, they decide that they're going to spend a high draft pick on Zach Moss. And you're thinking to yourself, Zach Moss has to be the guy. He's a physical runner. He's exactly what they need. and then they just end up just wiping our faces and dog shit. I don't know what we did to deserve this, fantasy gods, but I do ask for apologies, Devin Singletary, as we jump back on the activist promoter train here.
Is there still room? We literally jumped off that ship right before it sailed off into the sunset. And Cash, I don't know if you realize this or not, but that was our chance the other night on that big tourney sweat. That was our chance to get all the Singletary bucks back.
I know.
God, wouldn't that have been something?
I think there's still room.
I was thinking about that.
There's still room on that one. I mean, there was no one hyping up Devin Singletary at the time.
Take us back. Take us back, Devin.
Bun. He went on a fucking wreck.
No, at the beginning.
Oh, I thought you were talking for next year, maybe getting a value on him.
Yeah, but still, I think it may even be. I don't know if that can carry over with him though. But this year, at the end of the year, I did notice that like going into the playoffs, people weren't. I mean, he was scoring 20. He scored 20 like 4 straight weeks.
And he was still coming in way lower than expected week after week.
That's what I mean. It was kind of like people just weren't accepting it. It was strange.
But you know how these hot finishes are when people don't have shit to do and they're digging through their stats and they're looking for stuff to tout heading into the season. Everybody loves the hot finish trend.
Yep, the hot finish.
He ain't going to survive. We're not going to be able to get back on this.
Yeah, the hot finish trend. But at the same time, then you got the guys that really dig into it. They go, oh, well, it's just the recency bias. He shouldn't be priced to where he is. He's only priced there because he ended strong. So I don't know.
Maybe they take another highlight tape guy, rookie, get everybody excited, distract them, and then we can sneak in the back door.
But I'm sorry, Devin, for jumping on Zach Moss's dick when we just should have stayed on yours. Please have us back. Feels like a bad breakup. We want to be there for you.
Yep. Pick one dick and stick to it. So here we go.
We want to celebrate your success with you.
This is
please allow us. In the world.
Okay, we need to go back. We need to go back. When I was 9 years old, okay, I had a pet fish. I had a goldfish named Chucky. I got him at a wedding. They had fish as like placeholders in the middle of the table. Took him home, and Chucky, it turned out, ended up having a very unusually long life for goldfish. I remember it became kind of a big hit within our family that Chucky was still alive. I remember we were like looking it up, how long they live, and Chucky just, there was something special about him. And then one day, for some reason, I was with one of my friends, drank a lot of pop, got real hyped up, and for some reason he peer pressured me into pouring my Pepsi into Chucky's bowl. And
oh, no.
The next morning, we found Chucky dead, floating upside down, and tears began running from my eyes. I felt horrible, and even though I was standing there looking right at Chucky's dead body floating in the toilet, my mom was next to me, and she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with me? Are you psycho? Do you need to talk to someone?" I was like, I was looking at Chucky, and I couldn't accept that he was gone. I couldn't accept it, even though that he was floating right there. And, that for a while, that's exactly how I felt about Trey Sermon, because all off season, all signs were pointing to Trey Sermon having a huge role in the 49ers offense. Everything I watched on film, everything I heard, scouts that I trust, trustable scouts, everything I heard them say, it started lining up in my mind, and it felt great. It felt so good. Trey Sermon, you see him in the preseason, makes a couple nice runs. It just keeps making more sense every time you think about it. And then the season comes, week 1, we're in the Vegas pool.
Oh,
we learned
Vegas
a lot that
pool.
day. Speaking of not even being active, healthy scratch, not even there. But then, well, first of all, I need to just say, this was a firm 7th round pick. Trey was. Firm. I mean,
majority
almost
every time that he was there. At that point, it was drafting Alvin. You're getting Alvin Kamara in the 7th round. That's the picture that was painted when drafting Trey Sermon.
I was taking him in the 6th.
One of my highest exposed
a couple times.
Highest exposed guys in best ball. 2nd highest exposed running back. And not a great start. But you know what? Week 1, Raheem Mostert goes down with an injury.
Out of jail.
Was week 1, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
quarter 1.
So here we go. You know, he probably just, I don't know, maybe said, fuck you, Kyle, like Beaver did or something before the game and just got inactive. Something weird's going on. He'll be coming back. No, it's Eli Mitchell. And it turns out Eli Mitchell's actually really good. But then Eli Mitchell gets hurt. And here we go. Oh, no, Jeff Wilson's there. But then Jeff Wilson's banged up too. It doesn't matter because Kyle hates Trey. He plays a total of 107 offensive snaps on the season. 107 total offensive snaps. He had a fleeting, not even fleeting, it was just, he had a moment. He got to start 2 games, and against the Seahawks, he got 19 carries, and he got 89 yards on those carries, and that was in week 4, and not a lot happened after that. On the season, 2 touchdowns. He had more tackles on special teams than he had touchdowns this year, with 3. So he didn't even do shit on special teams. I don't know what he was doing. He did get hurt at the end of the year, put on IR, came off in the playoffs, but whatever. It's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. So I have to sit here now and apologize to all those other guys in the 6th and 7th rounds, 8th rounds, depending on when these drafts were, just smashing them all off season. So it's a big list. But number 1, this is an important one. Number 1 on that list, a guy that was floating in this range almost all off season, was Debo, his teammate Debo. And if I don't apologize to Debo, because when I was looking into this, I had like 2 Debo teams in best ball.
Ouch.
And Debo, that is just, I feel sick. I feel like I did something terrible.
You did.
I did. And I had the blinders on, missed Debo, missed just anyone could have, anyone. Take your pick. I mean, Cash, where was Brandon Cooks going? A little bit later?
8th round.
Sickening.
Oh, that round was hot, man.
Is the door open at all? I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, Eli Mitchell's still there. Raheem Mostert, who knows what's going on with him? But we have crazy Kyle Shanahan who can wake up one day and change his mind in an instant. So I don't even know.
How's there not been a hashtag Kyle hates Trey yet? If there hasn't, can we do it?
Yeah.
Come on, let's toe the line. Let's push the envelope here. Let's get a movement started.
Quite frankly,
R.I.P. Chucky.
This is just discrimination at this point, period, for people named Trey. There's no other explanation.
I'm pretty surprised that you just didn't give the. I'm not gonna apologize. I actually admire that you apologized to the players within the 7th and 8th round, and you didn't just take the easy fuck Kyle Shanahan route like our comrade. But I can't let you just completely beat yourself down too much, because everything that led up to the season, between his preseason snaps, how he looked in preseason games, and
according to Josh, how he looked in college.
Yeah, I mean how he looked in college, but I mean, I'm reading this from September 9th.
For his Buckeyes.
This is their offensive coordinator. Really like his vision. He's a big dude that has good cutting ability.
It's all true.
Rare cutting ability for a guy that size, and I really like him as a human being.
Wow.
Oh God. I mean,
he has a beautiful soul.
You feel better.
Yeah,
that's a relief. That was beautiful.
Within the process, the process was okay. You didn't even mention that they moved up in the draft to take Sermon.
Yeah,
both Treys.
It is truly. Oh yeah, I mean that one hurt me too. And that one hurt me too.
I was equally responsible. Rob, you were the third of the 3. We were all very high, but I was right there with Bun. I mean, I matched his enthusiasm blindly. Really, didn't catch very many Ohio State games, but the couple that I did, he looked like a stud. So I will take that one. That one's not on Kyle. He might just suck really bad.
Learn lesson. Really, probably just don't trust Shanahan. However, also look at we got to dig deeper. I don't even think that it crossed our mind that another running back was drafted by the 49ers.
2 rounds later. And it was just the moving up thing to get Trey. Like normally I would be like, okay, that would present.
Plus,
like,
I do think,
good leverage.
He is a great runner of the ball. Just like the way he breaks tackles, he's just good at the game with the ball in his hands.
Eli Mitchell?
For
Sermon?
Trey. Trey Sermon. But yeah, you're right. That
I knew they drafted Eli.
We knew they did, but I don't think we ever pulled up did the YouTube on
we didn't
Eli.
look up any YouTube hype videos.
Nope.
Didn't even look up one. I didn't even look up his player profiler.
I still have it.
It was I thought it was just easy just to be able to take Trey Sermon, that he was 100% going to be the next guy behind Mostert, and I thought that he was going to overtake Mostert sooner rather than later. And boy, was I wrong. Lesson learned for me. I'm going to be digging into more YouTube hype videos.
Yep. You got to go, you got to do your work on YouTube.
I'm so excited for College Prospect Scouting Week.
Oh,
I'm blocking off my entire schedule. I might not even shower. I might not even get off the couch.
Oh, 24 hours straight of connected Mac right to the TV. Maybe
dual monitors for comparison's sake.
Oh yeah,
we'll get all the comps. We'll have like ESPN Classic going on one, so we can draw comparisons to Hall of Famers.
Yep, and then we'll have
justify it.
Yep, and then we'll have YouTube on the big screen. We'll be looking up Just Bombs production. Yeah. All the big name hype videos.
Oh, yeah. Just Bomb, great work by him. Beaver, I'm open.
All right. Chargers offense.
No.
Or sorry. Wait, what's going on? I completely blanked out for a second.
Sorry, I should have confused you.
A little bit.
No, I was also throwing hand signals at him.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I just wanted to use that pen to write down a note.
I thought you were taking
for the video camera.
For
the video camera.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was doing.
Hey,
all right. So for my second,
hey Beaver, catch this imaginary football that he just threw to you.
I get it now. It actually made a lot of sense. I wasn't following his.
You're the one
I wasn't
speaking.
catching his drift.
Threw me a fake football.
And neither is the audience because they can't see what we're doing. So let's talk about something else, and that is the Chargers offense being amazing and me giving a bad take. I'm really bad at this. I don't often admit defeat or guilt or failure.
Any emotions.
So I'm sorry about the Chargers offense. So let me hold on. Let me try this again.
I gotta say the selective memory conundrum.
Maybe I could. Maybe I could give the take that I did, and then you guys could say. So I mean, the take was that Herbie couldn't be QB1 without the rushing upside. I think he was QB3, so that was technically true. But
QB2.
Something to be said, just a quick side note on that is I do too many of these arbitrary benchmarks where it's like QB1, I have to get QB1, or tight end 1 or whatever. And it's like a lot of times tight end or QB3 is just good enough. And like another guy that we might have time to talk about later, QB2, QB3, it's all really the same. You don't have to have the fucking QB1, Beaver. Come on. So, yeah, that led to having no Keenan, was completely out on Keenan, loved the options around him, so it just didn't make sense. There was just so many QBs that I liked. Let's be clear. Herbie is sculpted. He's the quarterback that was sculpted by God, as I've famously proclaimed. And it took me too long.
Is it him or
it wasn't until
Trevor?
that Monday night, man. No. Trevor is God's quarterback.
Okay.
Big difference. Herbie was a quarterback that was sculpted by God.
Okay.
Remember the video game reference, create a player?
Of course.
Yeah. So I also didn't have any Big Mike, who was probably one of the best picks
first
on the board.
Half of the year revelation.
At least for a while there. I tried to leverage him with Josh Palmer. And there may or may not be a funny video of that circulating here tomorrow. But yeah, I tried to leverage Big Mike with Palmer, one of the best picks on the board, and just ended up off of all of them for various reasons. My only piece of the goddamn Chargers offense, probably the second or third best in the league, was Josh can't leave best ball drafts without him, Palmer. Didn't even get any Eckler, who I think was RB3. Just kind of wanted to be out on that. And Big Mike was a big fade for me. I mean, I thought that was one of the worst picks on the board. Made all the sense in the world for Palmer to dust him. And Palmer had his moments. I mean, he played in best ball. But yeah, when Big Mike has a season like that, it hurts, man. And this is just a classic Beaver, not the where I think that the play's not enough fun or there's not enough upside. And basically just comes down to the fact that I don't draft quarterbacks that don't run, and that's a hole in my game. So he was off my board for no good reason. For no good reason.
You're right.
I didn't like Keenan Allen, and I really didn't like Big Mike, so there was nowhere to pair. I'm not,
You're hanging out with the you hung out with the fantasy devil of Justin Herbert pessimism before the season too long. And that just ended up leading to overall limited exposure to the Chargers offense. But the good thing is that you have since come to an agreement with the fantasy god and switch sides from the fantasy devil to now realize that Justin Herbert was sculpted by the god.
Yeah, and
you're on that team now.
Oh, and I'm begging for forgiveness, guys. I want on this bandwagon. I've got a bunch of sick rookies that we can all look at. If you looked at my collection, you'd think I'm the number one fan. I'm loaded up. I gotta be in on this guy next year at all cost.
That's the worst part.
That's just what it's going to be.
I think
it'll still be paired with Palmer.
I think that's one of the worst parts about it is you even have
and Donnie Parham.
You have and had before the season even started a 4-figure Justin Herbert card collection that if you could have with the right buyer you would have ditched for pennies.
Oh, I was looking to dump.
You were looking to dump it.
If you recall, what was the reason for that? I wanted to use that money and directly spend it on Burrows. I wanted to get all the Herberts out and bring in a bunch of Burrows. And I never found a buyer.
Yep, and I will give you that. But I just would have thought that because you had so much Herbert that you still would lead yourself to saying, okay, maybe I'll have a mini hedge and I'll get some Herbert shares because I have this 4-figure collection. And if Justin Herbert ends up doing well, then I'm going to be having a card party, and I'm going to be having maybe a little mini best ball party that gets going because something gets through.
It just speaks to my defiance to accept a hedge. I just won't do it. It was the perfect hedge that was already in place, and I just had to go all in.
All eggs in one basket. What about honorable mentions? Any honorable mentions here?
Well, my highest exposed running back in best ball was a guy that got cut multiple times, so that one's pretty bad.
Yeah,
Javon Hawkins.
That probably deserves a note.
Beaver.
Thanks for those 4 shares.
Oh, well, let's not get into that. That'll hurt.
Thanks for forcing Javian Hawkins on the FU group.
That's what I didn't want to mention.
100.
That's what we don't need to mention that.
Multiple $125.
Well, you know what?
And football guys drafts.
Very small opportunity cost there. 18th round.
At least we could draft it. At least we could drop him in the football guys.
Yeah.
Beaver?
No Fitzy on any of those teams, by the way.
Do you want to say anything about Tom?
Move the amount of busted teams up from 65 to 70 on that little stunt you pulled.
Or what about CEH? Well, at least he wasn't a second-round pick.
Yeah.
What about the slogging turd?
I'm going to take one on the slogging turd.
Oh, yeah, man. Is that a slogging turd down the wall?
Just a bizarre situation, man. Like one of the most heralded pass catchers, blue chip school, coming out, prospect, and again, it's just so bizarre. If you can't tell, I'm at a loss for words with the situation. I mean, he got
Clyde
dusted.
Edwards-Helaire.
He got dusted by J-Mac, man. No, I know what I'm talking about. I just
not
find
you.
The words. Yeah, for the audience.
I'm explaining what you're confused about.
I mean, J-Mac put him on ice in these playoffs. He looks better.
Jarek McKinnon.
That dude's like 37-year-old Jarek McKinnon, who was originally made his way into the NFL on the back of freakish athleticism. And he dusted him. He looks better. He played better. And Clyde was just I made the same mistake twice. I called him the chosen one in a write-up few years ago, and he is clearly not that.
Leave that for
At least below that. He might not be bad, but he's not quite the chosen one.
Leave that for LeBron.
Yeah. So that was better. That was sincere, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, CEH.
I do feel bad about that.
CEH,
I've been pumping him for so long.
Talking,
he just stinks.
Talk about
no excuse.
Talk about a slogging turd. Jerick McKinnon in the last 2 weeks of the season ended up with more 10-plus yard runs than CEH had the entire year.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it, man.
And that's the problem right there.
Just an unbelievably
bad
bad
plays.
evaluation of talent.
Got to have big plays. Any final words before next week's Super Bowl preview? The FU special. Special event.
We have before we get to that, Bun, I think you're getting a little bit too excited because I mean there is good reason, good logical reason for this group and all the listeners to be extremely excited, and that's that we got Joe going against Matthew, and it's going to be an unbelievable
brand on brand crime.
Brand on brand crime here at FU. But I mean, if you listen to any pause this entire year, you know that's the brand. But we got the victory laps. I mean, we took the L's on our chins today, like men, because we had to do that. But we got the victory laps pod, and that's coming later this week. So. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Got a couple of victory laps, just like my 5th year of college.
Honestly, I'm just extremely excited because you have to dress up. You have to get a coat like that. You need to find the chain.
What are we going to do with the hair? That's the only thing
Go find a wig.
I'm stuck on. Yeah, we got to get a wig.
Joe
It's
Burrow
not going to be
hair
enough. I don't
is an
think this
easy
will
wig.
slick back. I
That's
think
an
it'll
easy
just
wig.
be a really awkward, sick-looking spike, like a greaser spike.
No, I mean, Beaver, let's be honest. You're hanging on to that hair.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Going back for it to lay down backwards. We'd have to use super glue. We'd have to use cement.
I mean, if you're going that direction, wanting hair, you got to go the wig direction.
Yeah, we could do that. Listen, guys. Okay, I'm going to do this. Oh,
no chance they
just
lose a game.
Josh knows
Do you
what I'm
think he
doing.
wants to deal with the headache
All
of
right,
having to bench
we'll see you later in the week.
No, wait, I
I'm
got
calling
something to
it
say,
right now.
and I'm being
He will be
serious.
week
And I know
one.
I wasn't the best sport during this episode. It's out of pocket for me. But there is one.
No,
L
that
I have
is
to
on
take.
brand character here.
There's one L. Well, I'm going to right the ship right here, right now. This brings me a lot of pain, but it's also an uplifting sense of relief. It's something about when he sniffed the grass, man. He's the GOAT, and I like him. Tom, I wish you the best. Thanks for the memories. Too far. Cut that.
No, it's
Cut
on
the
the
memories
record.
part.
It is on
No,
the
you
record
fucking
forever.
cut it.
And I'm
You
mailing
cut it
a-
right now.
He said it.
I'm mailing a copy.
I always take it too far.
Mailing a
God
copy
damn
to
it.
your father. You.
Oh, no. You cannot